Hi there, welcome back. Today I've got another lovely recipe for you. I'm making Stollen. I hope I've pronounced that right for any German followers here. I'm sorry if I haven't. So Stollen is a German bread, usually eaten around Christmas time. We find it in stores like Aldi and Lidl at Christmas. It's a beautiful bread packed with fruit, spices and marzipan. Absolutely delicious. This recipe is a really easy recipe. I'm not doing the yeast version. So this is really fast. We're going to start with some self-raising flour in a bowl, and into here we're going to add in some grated butter. Now we need to rub this in until we've got nice fine breadcrumbs like we do with scones. The frozen butter makes it much more easier to get it rubbed in, and it also helps with a nice rise as well. Okay, I'm happy with that now. So into here I'm going to add in some cinnamon, some ginger and some salt. I'm also going to add in the zest of a lemon, gives it a lovely flavour. Mixed peel. You can use chopped nuts as well. I'm not adding them to this today. My marzipan, and I've just grated this up with a cheese grater. And now for my fruit, you can use raisins, sultanas, currants. I'm using sultanas today, and I've soaked these for about 2 hours in some orange juice. If you like rum is generally used in this recipe. You can soak them in 2 to 3 tablespoons of rum either. Just make sure you strain the excess liquid off. So I'm going to get them in there and just give this all a mix together. You want it all nicely mixed in. The smell from this is absolutely gorgeous. That's all evenly mixed in now. Now for the liquid, I'm going to use some buttermilk. I've seen this recipe made with quirk as well, quirk cheese. So if you want to use that either, you can. Into here I'm going to add 1 egg and some almond extract. We'll give it a nice almond flavour. Just mix all that together. And I just see one ingredient I forgot to add in is sugar. So we'll mix that in before I add in the buttermilk. Alright, so I'm going to just pour in about half of the buttermilk, and then I'll add some more. You just have to be careful with the consistency of this. Sometimes flour in different countries has different absorption levels, so you may not need all the buttermilk. And I know from this mixture that I do need more, so get some more in there. And that's looking pretty good. You can see that the mixture is nice and soft and a little bit sticky, but not too wet. So just set this to one side. And I'm just using a standard size baking tray. You probably will need 2 of these. What I like to use is an ice cream scoop. If you don't have one of these, just use a tablespoon. So I'm going to take about that amount and pop it into my hands. Just a little bit of flour in my hands and roll it into a ball like that. Just flatten it a tiny little bit. You don't want it too flat. And then pop it on your baking tray. Leave a little bit of space between them. And there you have them, my Stollen Bites. We've got 8 onto a tray, so we'll have another tray. So I'm going to get these into the oven for about 15 minutes. These are fully baked now. They just took 15 minutes. They're a lovely golden colour, smell wonderful. So the last thing we have to do is get some melted butter and just brush it on each of them. It's important to do this while they're still warm. And then you just lift one up and pop it into some icing sugar, just like that. This step is entirely optional. It is part of the recipe, but if you don't feel like doing this, they're perfectly fine without the butter and icing sugar. So we're just going to keep doing this until we've got the butter and icing sugar on all of them. And let's dip them in the icing sugar. Look at that. So we're just going to keep going like that. Just be careful, they're a little bit warm still. Just be careful you don't burn your hands either. You could of course sieve the icing sugar on either if you want. And that's them all done. So I'm going to let these cool now for about half an hour to 40 minutes, and then we will cut one open so you can see the inside. So we'll see you shortly. Here they are, beautifully stacked and ready to enjoy. Each one is packed with festive flavours and has a lovely dusting of icing sugar for that classic look. Let's cut one in half so you can see what the inside is like. The texture is nice and soft and fluffy, and you can see some marzipan and juicy fruit in there. And those are my Stollen Bites. They really are a beautiful recipe. Give them a go and enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. Happy baking, everyone. See you all soon.